Timo Werner is a Tottenham Hotspur player. Now, I bet that's a sentence that you never thought you'd hear. Sources have revealed today that Timo Werner is close to joining Spurs on a 6-month loan deal with an not an obligation or an option to buy for £15 million. It's one of those transfers that sort of come in and gone completely under the radar. It's picked up on the day, and as we're recording this now, it's pretty much done. We're just waiting for the announcement. The German international, he's flying to the UK over the weekend. He wasn't in RB Leipzig's squad for the game on Saturday night, and it looks like he is another player who's going to be making the jump from Chelsea to Tottenham. I just sort of wanted to record this to talk about it and give my opinions on it and why I actually think that Timo Werner being a Spurs player is actually a good thing, and I think that he's actually going to do quite well. So it's a 6-month loan deal. It sort of comes across as a stopgap, a filler for Heung-min Son being away at the Asian Cup. Spurs, of course, being without him for up to 6 weeks while he's away, depending on how far South Korea get. And Werner, he's not had the best season back in Germany. He joined Leipzig back in the summer of 2022, so he's been there for just over a year now, a year and a half, since leaving Chelsea after a 2-year stint there. Of course, while he was in the Premier League and while he was at Chelsea, I know he was memed a lot, and a lot of people sort of said that he wasn't very good, and there's compilations doing the rounds on social media at the moment, but he was a Champions League winner at Chelsea, and his numbers actually suggest that it wasn't all doom and gloom. You've got to remember that the player that Spurs are getting is a 57-time German international. He made 57 caps for him, scored 24 goals in that time as well. His overall record for Chelsea wasn't amazing, but if you just listen to it, 89 appearances overall for Chelsea, 23 goals, 21 assists. That's not bad. He's averaging either a goal or assist nearly every other game in the Premier League, in the best league in the world. For, I know at the point, one of the biggest clubs in the world is it's actually not too horrendous when you actually sit down and think about it. And you've also got to remember the managers that he played under. Frank Lampard, who obviously initially brought him in, and then Thomas Tuchel as well. They're not known for their vastly expansive, attacking, free-flowing football. So maybe if we just go back a little bit further and have a look at his time in Leipzig the first time round, because he was really, really excellent. I mean, I'm just having a look at his numbers on here now, and if you go back to the 2019-2020 season, which is the season before he joined Chelsea. So he joined Chelsea in 2019, I believe. In 2020. 34 Bundesliga appearances in the 2019-20 campaign, 28 goals and 8 assists. So he's actually exceeded his goals and assists for the amount of games that he's played. He's had more goal contributions in less games for Leipzig in that final season. If you look back on his seasons before that, if you go to the 2018-2019 season, he's had 30 Bundesliga appearances, 16 goals and 9 assists. And then if you go to the year before that, which I think might have been his first season at Leipzig, 13 goals and 8 assists in 32 Bundesliga appearances. It's not all doom and gloom. There is a player there. And there's the argument that there is still a lot of good to come from Timo Werner. He is a winner. He is successful at the clubs he's been with. He won the Super Cup, the Club World Cup and the Champions League at Chelsea. He's a German Cup winner, German Super Cup winner. He's been recognised at international level. He's played in the Euros, he's played in a World Cup. So Ange Postecoglou, the reports have said, was really, really keen to get Timo Werner into this squad, and the reasons for it are his massive work rate and his selflessness. And you can cast your mind back to his time at Chelsea, and even though he wasn't putting the ball in the net as often as he should have been, he was still working relentlessly, running, pressing, and he almost looked a bit too selfless to be a striker. He was always looking for his teammates, and I think those are the qualities that Ange Postecoglou really values. And I think loads of people, Fabrizio Romano in particular, is reported that Timo Werner is really excited and keen to work with Ange. Overall, do you know what? I'm just excited. I'm excited about this signing. It's so weird. It's a 6-month loan deal, of course, and there's no obligation to buy. It's an option, and for 15.5 million quid, if he comes to North London and he bags 8 to 10 goals in that time, you could then sit there and argue that there's cause to activate that buy option. He's playing in a different system to what he did at his peak at Leipzig. In Leipzig, he played in sort of like a 4-2-2-2 formation with two sort of central midfielders, two wide players, and then two up top. So it's a little bit different for him, but he is capable of playing across the front line. But I think what it means for Spurs, especially while Son's away, is that we might now see a front three of Richarlison up top, Brennan Johnson on the right, and then Timo Werner on the left. And then that frees up Dejan Kulusevski to sort of play in that number 10 floating role, as he did in the second half of against Burnley in the FA Cup a couple of days ago. It's going to be good. I'm excited for it. I hope he does well. And I guess we just have to wait and see. It looks like the deal's going to be announced tomorrow, quite possibly, or if not, at the latest Monday, and he'll probably be in that squad, could possibly even be in the starting 11 for the trip to Old Trafford next Sunday. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. The key thing we've got to remember about this deal is that Ange wants him. Don't, the reports that you might read or what people might say and what their opinions are on him are all irrelevant. You've got to remember that this is an Ange Postecoglou signing. He wants him. The guys have gone out and got this deal over the line very quickly. We have to put our faith in trust in Ange and accept that Timo Werner is going to be a Spurs player for the next 6 months at least, and see what he has to deliver. Give him a few weeks on the training ground with him, see what happens. Ange's signings so far have been immaculate. You got to think about it. Van der Ven, Vicario, Maddison, 3 huge players that we brought in over the summer. So there's no reason to get too upset about this one. It's risk-free, because if he's not very good, we don't have to buy him. And if we do buy him, then it's on the cheap. So overall, I see this as a positive. I think it's a good sign-in for Spurs in terms of finance and the type of player that he is, the way that he fits the system. And he's got a history, he knows how tough it is in the Premier League. And one of the biggest things for me, he has a point to prove. He'll be coming back to England with a point to prove. And sometimes that is just what a player needs to revive their career. So let's wait and see. Let's get behind him. Let's just see what happens. It's Man United away next weekend. We've got players coming back. Mickey likely to be back in the team. And then Maddison's not too far away alongside Romero. It might all start clicking in the second half of the season for Spurs. But let me know what you make of the deal. Do you think it's going to be a success or not? And I look forward to doing more of these videos, hopefully on signings coming in at Spurs over the next couple of weeks.